Far in the endless blue of the southeastern Pacific Ocean, over 2,000 miles away from any major civilization, lies one of Earth's most mysterious islands. Easter Island, known to its indigenous people as Rapa Nui, a land of windswept cliffs, empty horizons, and silent stone giants staring endlessly toward the ocean. These ancient statues are called Moai, and they have captured the imagination of the world for generations. For thousands of years, the Moai have watched over the island like guardians frozen in volcanic stone. Their faces are long, their expressions stoic, and their gaze unbroken. But behind those carved eyes lies one of history's greatest unanswered questions. Who built them, how, and why? The story begins roughly 1,200 years ago when Polynesian seafarers, master navigators of stars and tides, arrived on this isolated island. They came in large canoes carrying plants, animals, and traditions, never knowing that this place would become one of humanity's most fascinating archaeological puzzles. They settled, they grew, and they developed a society unlike any other in the Pacific. Chiefs and priests rose to power. Clan systems developed, and soon the carving of Moai became a sacred mission. Not just statues, but symbols of ancestors, power, and divine protection. The larger the Moai, the greater the prestige of the tribe. These statues are carved from volcanic tuff found mainly at Ranawaraku, a dormant volcanic crater that still stands today like a museum of unfinished giants. Hundreds of Moai remain half buried in the rock as if abandoned suddenly, capturing a moment frozen in time. Transporting them was an achievement that defies explanation. Each Moai weighed up to 80 tons, yet they were somehow moved across miles of uneven terrain without wheels, without metal, and without animals strong enough to pull them. Oral tradition says the statues walked. Not literally, but ritually rocked forward using ropes and human coordination. Some historians agree, with enough manpower and careful balance, they could indeed be walked upright across the island. As the population grew, competition between clans increased. More land, more crops, more Moai. Forests that once covered the island began disappearing. Trees used for canoes and rope transportation were cut faster than they could grow back. Over centuries, the island transformed, and not for the better. Food became scarce, conflict escalated, and the society that once thrived began collapsing. Moai were toppled by rival clans. The spiritual era faded, replaced by another tradition called the Birdman cult, a ritual competition where tribes fought not with war, but with bravery and endurance to retrieve the first egg of a sacred seabird. By the 18th century, European ships arrived, shocked to find colossal statues on such a remote land. Then disease, slavery raids, and cultural erosion took their toll. Rapa Nui's population dropped drastically. Their language, their rituals, and their ancient carving traditions nearly vanished. The Moai remained, silent observers of destruction and rebirth. But the spirit of the island did not die. Today, Easter Island stands not just as an archaeological site, but as a living heritage. The people of Rapa Nui continue to revive their language, their dance, and even their carving skills. The Moai are restored, re-erected, and honored once again not as relics of mystery, but as ancestors returned. The winds that cross the island carry stories thousands of years old, and the crashing Pacific waves remind us how distance could not erase culture. Visitors stand in awe, surrounded by hundreds of stone faces shaped by hands long gone. Every Moai has a story, every stair holds a memory, and every shadow cast at sunset across the red volcanic soil whispers the same truth. Civilizations may rise, collapse, and rebuild, but history never disappears, it simply waits to be rediscovered. Some believe the Moai were built through spiritual energy, others through ancient engineering techniques lost to time. The mystery is part of the island's power. Easter Island remains one of the world's most isolated inhabited places, yet its legacy is global. It represents ingenuity, cultural pride, and the consequences of environmental choices. It stands as a lesson and as a wonder. In the end, Easter Island is not just about towering statues. It is about resilience. The Moai are more than stone. They are ancestors, protectors, and silent storytellers. They face the horizon not to watch the world, but to remind it. Even the smallest civilization, in the most remote corner of the earth, can leave a mark that outlives time itself. And so, as the Pacific sunset turns gold and the last light touches the faces of the Moai, the island returns to silence. The mystery remains, the guardians endure, And the legacy of Rapa Nui continues eternal, unbroken, and carved forever into history.